Social media and poverty. This is gonna be interesting.
What's the most powerful social media in the world?
Okay, let's look at this. Wait a minute, I'm gonna move myself so you can see. So we got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure that's LinkedIn. YouTube, Vine? Isn't Vine not around anymore? WhatsApp, which is not even social media, let's be real. TikTok, Pinterest, which is gone also pretty much at this point. Twitter, it's called X now. And I don't even know honestly what this one is supposed to be. Wow. Man, you can't even call WhatsApp social media. LinkedIn is supposed to be a thing where you actually get hired. Admittedly, it functions like social media now. This is crazy. YouTube's also, I don't know, can we even compare YouTube to Facebook or Instagram? Man, this is tough. This is real tough. Because we don't even know what social media is supposed to be nowadays.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok? Well, there's definitely
The
a
big
strong
three.
argument to be made about each and every one of those platforms. But I would argue that the most powerful social media network in the world is actually MSN Messenger.
No. No. MSN. At least make it the default emailing system the companies used. That one. I don't think it's called MSN Messenger. I forgot what it's called even.
MSN Messenger is, I'm just kidding, I'm actually
Oh,
talking
good.
about LinkedIn.
That doesn't make it better! I'm still confused! How is LinkedIn the best social media thing out there?
If you're not familiar with LinkedIn, they're a professional networking site owned by Microsoft where people can share their career progression with friends, family, and recruiters from potential future employers.
Yeah, no one gets recruited through LinkedIn nowadays. Well, people do. It's actually pretty good for that. I'm gonna be completely honest. But most of the time, what happens here is some rich CEO is just looking for a hot secretary. Unironically, how it's happening in LinkedIn. Okay, that is literally what LinkedIn is nowadays. Okay, it's crazy.
Today, LinkedIn boasts a whopping 950 million members from more than 200 countries and territories around the world. For perspective, WhatsApp has over 2 billion monthly active users, and YouTube has 2.7 billion monthly active users.
Oh, huh. But that's also not counting inactive accounts. They also count that. I personally know people that have 3 accounts on LinkedIn because they don't upgrade their accounts when they want to use LinkedIn to get a new job. They just make a new LinkedIn account and then make it up to date. That's what they do. That's crazy.
So, LinkedIn is obviously not the most popular social media platform in the world, but when we look at power, it's a completely different story. Take revenue,
Is
for
it?
example. In 2022, WhatsApp pulled in a total of $906 million in revenue. This translates
It's actually a miracle WhatsApp even makes a penny.
to a little less than 50 cents per user per year. LinkedIn, on the other hand, pulled in $14.59 billion in 2022. This translates to over $15 in revenue per user per year, or over 30 times more than WhatsApp. WhatsApp would need over 60 billion users to pull in the same revenue as LinkedIn. Even
Okay.
YouTube only pulls in a little less than $11 per user per year, and
Now, I obviously see a flaw here. First of all, is LinkedIn has a cap on how many people it can have. You know why? Because the reality of LinkedIn is it's just pretty much a giant flex to be on LinkedIn. Okay, there's no person who's on LinkedIn and their current occupation is McDonald's cashier. That doesn't happen. The only people on LinkedIn are people with substantial gains in the social ladder. You know, people who have worked in high positions in companies, things like that. You know, people who have made it up the ladder. That is the people who are on LinkedIn. So naturally, LinkedIn can ask more money from them. But how many, managers and above manager positions are there in the world versus how many, non-managerial positions are there in the world? LinkedIn currently can only target the higher ups. So yeah, this makes sense that it can monetize itself pretty well on a lot of cases. But how long will that last, and how much will people care? Because I don't think new people are gonna come to LinkedIn. Unless you're a hot secretary type of girl who wants to, make some easy ka-ching. Which, I have nothing against that. You do you.
A lot of people spend their entire lives on YouTube. With LinkedIn, the vast majority of users just check in here and there. And the craziest part is that Microsoft didn't pay all that much for LinkedIn than Facebook paid for WhatsApp. When all was said and done, Facebook paid a total of $22 billion for WhatsApp, while Microsoft paid $26.2 billion for LinkedIn. Microsoft clearly got much more bang for their buck, but the power of LinkedIn goes much deeper than just monetary gain. Today, LinkedIn is synonymous with not just professional networking, but power, control, and influence within the corporate world. Let me explain.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that again, LinkedIn is only used by people high up, but no one gives a shit. LinkedIn's not even that useful. LinkedIn is just a place you flaunt the fact that you made it in the corporate world. That's it. People on LinkedIn, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I don't know if I will agree with that. Well, in the way he puts it, that sounds so wrong.
Microsoft has clearly built a massive social media platform behind the scenes, but that's not the only thing that they've been building. Over the past 15 years, Microsoft has grown their cash reserves from $30 to $40 billion to $130 to $140 billion. If you're wondering how they responsibly store and maintain so much cash, well, their secret is bonds. Such companies often own tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars worth of government and corporate bonds, which are currently yielding 4
True. Classic.
to 7% per year. If you look for a modern platform to invest in bonds yourself, however, you'll quickly find yourself with no options, and that's where our bonds.
Oh, this is an ad, huh? Oh, right. This is Logically Answered's own app, right? I don't know, boys. I don't know about this one. Seems sus.
The early 2000s to a man named Reid Hoffman. LinkedIn likes to claim that they were started in Reid's living room, and that's probably technically true, but make no mistake, LinkedIn was by no means a bootstrapped startup. Not only did they have a stacked team with a bunch of early PayPal employees and executives, but they also had access to $123 million worth of funding over the next several years. So you basically had the dream team paired with virtually
That's a lot of funding, not gonna lie.
unlimited funding, and their goal was simple: create a business-oriented social media platform. They would call it LinkedIn, and LinkedIn would make its debut on May 5th, 2003. Unlike other social media platforms, LinkedIn never really had some sort of viral moment or explosion. Instagram, for example, racked up 25,000 users within the first day, 100,000 users within the first week, and 1 million users within the first 2 months. LinkedIn's growth, on the other hand, was a lot more modest.
Wait, is that actually supposed to be... Well, it is kind of good, but... Can a social media platform even survive it? Just, that 1 million users? I don't think that's possible.
They ended the first month with
Didn't Instagram achieve its success by getting celebrities to actually, promote it? I'm pretty sure that was their key to success. They got a couple of really big celebrities with huge social followings to promote them.
4,500 users, much of whom were invited by the company's original employees. But over time, these numbers slowly compounded. Instead of getting thousands of users per month, LinkedIn started getting tens of thousands, and then hundreds of thousands, and so on. Likely the main reason that LinkedIn never had a viral moment was because of their demographics, but at the same time, their unique demographics.
Well, yeah. But, again, LinkedIn is slowly not even... people are no longer using LinkedIn that much for finding people who are gonna work, okay? So, when people stop using LinkedIn to try and find what to work, there's not going to be anyone using LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, in my opinion, is more like on the way to collapse than anything else. Because their user statistics are probably horrendous.
Graphics are what make the platform so special in the first place. Technically, you only have to be 16 years old to create a LinkedIn account. But I don't think you'd be surprised to hear that the vast majority of LinkedIn users are above the age of 25. This isn't.
Whoa, this statistic alone seems not true at all in my... Well, no, I guess it seems okay. Huh, I'm surprised this part isn't a little bit higher. No, I guess this is until 34, so maybe it makes sense.
Users are above the age of 25. This is in stark contrast to basically any other social media platform. With TikTok, for example, 30% of their users are under the age of 20, and another 30% are under the age of 30. YouTube's users tend to be a bit older, but we also have to keep in mind, what kid doesn't just lie about their age? Moreover, 5 out of the top 10 most subscribed YouTubers make content for teenagers.
Yeah, kids. Again, if you want to become big, just make stuff for kids. That's fine.
And children. There's nothing wrong with this, as YouTube and most social media platforms are largely meant for entertainment. So it's not surprising that younger people with more time tend to use these platforms more actively. But when we look at this from a more cynical perspective of which user base is more lucrative and useful to control, it's obviously the older demographic. We should also note that LinkedIn's user base is not only older than other platforms.
That's incorrect. I mean, on the internet that is technically correct, I guess. But in reality, you want to well, no, it's not even true on the internet. No. Typically the demographic that you wanted to control all the time is just as young as possible. This is why they made the rules about kid channels and whatnot, because the ads for kid channels were absolutely insanely expensive. You know, you get like, I don't know, €3 for 100 views on a gaming channel. Bro, that has like, I don't know, 10 million subscribers and is getting the best ads on YouTube for gaming. You can't even compete with a kid's channel with 10k subs that get that channel with 10k subs for children is probably getting $30 for 1,000 views, because that's how lucrative the young children's market was. Because the thing is, when you have an 8-year-old child and he wants something, well, he's gonna piss off his parents until he gets that something. And if the parents can't afford that something, they're probably buying that something because guess what? They want the kid to be happy. Strange how that works. So yeah, the actual most lucrative demographic is children by far, because they're gonna force their parents to buy shit. They're gonna steal the credit card to buy something if they want. And the parents are not going to charge back, obviously, because what, do you want to be that fool whose kid stole the credit card from? No.
Platforms, they're also way more successful, at least from a career perspective. I mean, just think about it. What type of person would want to publicize their professional life?
Exactly.
Obviously not someone who's a cashier at Walmart or an Uber Eats delivery driver. It's probably not.
But this is why I think this is strange. The fact that LinkedIn has 60%. They must be in the early 30s. Where's the graph? Yeah, this. This shocks me. I did not expect that. 20% 18 to 24? No way. Absolutely no way this can be even true. Okay? This is probably just someone who pressed their age on random because they just wanted to look at some hottie in a pencil suit. Okay? That's how it is. This also seems way too high. This must be... Dude, there's no apps... by the way, the disparity between these percents also means that I honestly think it's more towards 30 than anything else. Because I don't believe this. I just don't. I'm shocked, honestly, that this exists. I think it's probably way up there. 55-year-olds don't care, because why would they do it unless they want to flex and buy a secretary that does extra curricular activities, right? But man, I don't believe this this is true. It's really a hard sell to me.
Life. Obviously not someone who's a cashier at Walmart or an Uber Eats delivery driver. It's probably not even someone who has a more modest job as a teacher or a police officer or a nurse or even a doctor for that matter. LinkedIn.
A nurse would probably actually be on LinkedIn. A nurse probably would be.
Most active users are the hyper-competitive type who are playing the game of capitalism and climbing the corporate ladder, aka the people with the most power, control, and influence in the world. By the end of 2004, LinkedIn would grow to house over a...
Oh, that's how he means it. Okay. Tipping my hat off to you. I can't argue with that. Technically, you're right. Technically, you're right, but that's a very dramatic way to say nothing.
Million of these people.
That's funny.
But all of this was just the beginning. Moving into 2005, LinkedIn would roll out the first stages of monetizing this highly valuable user base with the launch of LinkedIn Jobs. Over the years, this has expanded into 3 primary sources of revenue, starting with talent solutions. This is by far their largest source of revenue. Basically, companies and recruitment agencies pay LinkedIn to be able to post their job listings.
Dude, what's with that assassination hardcore, gay moment soundtrack you put there in the background?
On the website and easily reach out to highly
Are we watching a funny video about social media, or is this like a Solid Snake campaign suddenly?
Qualified potential recruits. After Microsoft took over, we haven't been getting as detailed reports about LinkedIn's revenue segments. But before they took over, Talent Solutions accounted for almost 2/3 of LinkedIn's revenue. Aside from Talent Solutions, just like any other social media platform, LinkedIn also makes money off of showing ads. And let me just say, it's extremely expensive to market on LinkedIn. In fact, the average cost of a LinkedIn ad is $5.26 per click. For perspective, Google ads on average only cost one.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense, but that's actually not as expensive as I think. Huh. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It seems a little bit less expensive than I would think, but yeah, because who's gonna market themselves on LinkedIn? Do you need a lawyer solution for the firm doing bad things to you? That's probably what it's gonna be, okay? Those are the ads, okay? Expensive escorts, lawyers, plastic surgeries, expensive hotels and luxury vacationing, luxury things. Yeah, I guess this does make sense.
Per click. For perspective, Google ads on average only cost $1 to $2 per click. So LinkedIn ads are often 3 to 5 times more lucrative than Google ads. But with that being said, people don't spend nearly as much time on LinkedIn, and there's not as many companies who are interested in buying these ads, so ads only account for 18% of LinkedIn's revenue. And this brings us into LinkedIn's last major source of revenue, which are premium subscriptions. For $30 to $60 per month, LinkedIn users can unlock additional functionality regarding job postings and career insights. To be honest, premium isn't all that useful for most LinkedIn users, but this has nonetheless...
I mean, what do they care? The average person on LinkedIn's $50? Pfft. Yeah, I'll buy it.
...grown to account for 17% of LinkedIn's revenue over the years. Going through all of these sources of revenue, you probably noticed one attribute that was extremely apparent. The intent...
No, I did not.
...of LinkedIn is extremely focused. You go there to advertise about jobs, hire for jobs, look for jobs, talk about jobs, spot.
I mean, wasn't this did I need to notice this? Wasn't this implied?
rely on other people's jobs. It's all about jobs.
Yeah.
And this is the second factor that makes LinkedIn more powerful than any other social media. The intent and focus of LinkedIn is extremely clear. With other social media platforms, people use them for all sorts of reasons, from learning and personal growth to entertainment and comedy. With LinkedIn, however, there's only one reason to use it: something job-related. Other than a few special people, no one actually uses LinkedIn for fun. They use LinkedIn with intent and focus, whether it's a company, recruiter, or employee.
Yep.
And given that jobs are the primary way that the vast majority of the world makes all of their money, there's quite a bit of money being exchanged on LinkedIn. And as
Yeah, but that doesn't make LinkedIn powerful. Yeah, LinkedIn's not like this magical club that you only get access to if you're powerful. So, I think that's just wrong. LinkedIn is not that powerful, okay? LinkedIn is a fascinating case study on what should we call it, at targeting or specialization, but it's not actually that powerful. Like, if LinkedIn suddenly tells all its users to do X, they're probably gonna tell LinkedIn to go shove it up its ass.
such, maintaining and facilitating this network has also proven to be extremely lucrative. LinkedIn first became profitable all the way back in March of 2006. For perspective, it
40
took
years?
YouTube at least a decade to achieve profitability, and Twitter, Snapchat, WhatsApp, and TikTok are still not profitable. So LinkedIn is very much the leader when it comes to revenue.
I mean, most companies nowadays aren't profitable, which is a huge issue, by the way, in the economy, because most of those companies pretty much are like, okay, we're gonna get a huge user base, and then Microsoft is gonna buy us. That's kind of how it goes, and that's bad. That's actually really, really, really bad for a lot of complicated reasons.
Revenue and value per user, but not everything about LinkedIn is quite as rosy. By
Toxic
2011,
cringe?
LinkedIn had grown to over 100 million users, and they were pulling in more revenue than Twitter. So they would decide to make things official and go public with
I mean, wait, what year is that? Well, yeah, but Twitter hadn't made a single penny until Elon Musk bought it, and that was how long ago? Like a year at this point, a year and a half, maybe, bruh. I mean, outperforming Twitter on revenue wasn't exactly that hard, you know. Twitter was run by a bunch of morons with purple hair, and that was their only personality trait.
than Twitter. So they would decide to make things official and go public with a valuation of $4.3 billion in May of 2011. Let's just say that this IPO was extremely successful, as the stock market would value the company at over double that, at $8.79 billion just a few weeks later.
Nice.
LinkedIn was officially a mainstream social media platform, but they also started to develop a cringe.
I mean, if your stock is good, that doesn't mean that you're a mainstream social platform. Again, if you ask most people, even by the way, since I have been in these situations, I know these people. I can just tell you for a fact, okay? There's nothing. They don't think about LinkedIn. None of these people, man, woman, 20, 30, 40, none of them give a shit about LinkedIn. It's just there, so if they're looking for a job, someone can Google them, and they can find them on LinkedIn, and that has all of their shit pretty much in one spot. That's it. No one cares. The average 45-year-old CEO woman who has 100 million in her bank account, and it doesn't matter does she have or not have children, will never even actually think of LinkedIn as a social platform. This is, yeah, at the start, yeah, here at the very start of the video, I didn't even consider LinkedIn a social platform. Same with WhatsApp, and because no one does. Mainstream social platform because your stock evaluation is good, bruh, that means nothing.
Reputation. You see, LinkedIn became the place where people would overstate their experience and inflate their job titles in hopes of catching the
Inflate their job titles? Bruh. Companies dude, it's actually so bad and so cringe that what's currently happening with job titles, like cashiers at Walmart are associate managers or something like that, they're called on their job title. Like, you're a basic dead brain analyst who just makes Excel spreadsheets and you give them to your boss so they can actually do the work. Congratulations, you're also some kind of fucking expert. Dude, the job title thing is out of control. It is absolutely out of control. Everyone just creates these super fancy sounding job specializations because that's also a way to actually keep stupid people in their jobs. Make them think that what they're doing is fancy. Oh, I'm not a cashier. I'm a Walmart affiliate owner. Can you scan my shit now? Thank you. Walmart affiliate owners or whatever. It's crazy.
Eyes of recruiters. And I'll be the first to admit that there is definitely a cringe factor associated with LinkedIn. But you can say the same thing about any social media. With
True.
Instagram, for example, you've got a bunch of people chasing clout and portraying their lives as something better than it is by posting half-naked pictures and highlights of their otherwise boring lives. Similarly, with TikTok, you've got a bunch of thirst traps and mindless content that you won't even remember 10 minutes later. And even on YouTube, you've got a bunch of clickbait and flexing. But there's one crucial difference between the cringe of
Again, I mean, every platform is cringe in its own way, that's for sure.
most social medias and the cringe of LinkedIn. With most social media, the cringe factor is a result of people chasing something superficial, whether it's the appearance of being rich and happy or the ego associated with having a high follower count. With LinkedIn, on the other hand, the cringe factor is mostly just a result of people wanting to improve their careers as much as possible. The bottom line is
That's not true. People do use LinkedIn as a flex. They do. If they have visibly impressive career growth, they put it in. You know, people do use LinkedIn as a flex. Just a blatant flex.
is that people have realized that staying loyal to one company and working for 40 years simply does not play out all that well over the long term. Even if the company treats you well and you have a good working environment, it's more than likely that your peers who constantly switch jobs and play the game end up in a much better situation. More and more people are realizing this with each passing year, leading to more and more people joining the
I don't think that's true, though.
game on LinkedIn. Trying to network with as many people as possible, getting referrals, contacting recruiters, buffing up profiles, and so on. This, of course, leads to some pretty cringy posts and stale conversations across the platform. But hey, it's all done with mostly good intentions. Microsoft started sensing this trend pretty early on, and they basically decided, if you can't fight this movement, you might as well join this movement and profit off of it, and that's exactly what they did. In mid-2016, they went ahead and bought out LinkedIn for a $26.2 billion all-cash deal. At the time, LinkedIn was pulling in just under $3 billion per year. Today, they're pulling in just under $15 billion per year. This, of course, doesn't...
Yeah, but Microsoft probably has done some crazy stuff with it also. Where was the part where he said, about the revenue sources from LinkedIn? Where was it? Here-ish? I guess, yeah, somewhere here. He clearly said it. We don't, that Microsoft doesn't release this information on what LinkedIn actually makes money from. So this is most likely Microsoft has added some of their crap to it, and that's it.
Directly translate to market cap growth, but I think it's safe to say that LinkedIn is worth around $100 billion today. And this is not surprising when you consider that they have 1 billion people who are using their platform with the sole focus of career progression, professional networking, and making more money. And somehow, this insanely powerful platform is now also owned by Microsoft. And it's becoming harder and harder every day to escape Microsoft's stronghold. So Maybe it's time we adopt their strategy, and instead of fighting them, we join them by investing in bonds. If that sounds valuable...
Shut up, logically answered. Bond. I mean, he's technically right, but still. Anyway, logically answered. Wait, what? In the Hindu? No, we want this one, and not Hindu. Anyway, this was Quizzer Said, this was hilarious. And have a nice day. Bye-bye.